everybody, it is I, Dave Murray, the big guy at Mayniax Branding, and today I want to talk about resources. No, it's not the most popular topic to talk about, it's not the sexiest topic out there, but it's something that's vitally important and needs to be addressed. Tony Robbins says that success is not about the resources you have, it's about how resourceful you are with what you do have. That was paraphrasing a little bit, but it's the right idea. One of the reasons you guys haven't seen me so much is one of the biggest resources that we all have or don't have all the time is time. We've just been swamped. I've been insane, and I understand how important marketing is and getting our message out there to help you guys out and everything else, and we've still just been too swamped to make it happen as regularly as we were. Don't worry, I'm working on that. But another big time resource is obviously money. And that's a hard one. It's a hard one to talk about when it comes to entrepreneurs, because a lot of people we deal with are smaller businesses and they don't have a lot of money. So they can't go all in with the full-on branding package. And even if they can, it's tough for them to generate the PR. And even if they make that happen, it's tough for them to advertise, and do the marketing, which really is more about, it's less about ROI. And believe me, I don't do marketing, so I have no skin in the game here, but everybody who thinks it's about ROI, you're ish, but not really. Advertising and marketing is more about not letting the next guy break through and get heard about. Remember, the point of branding is to be #1 on people's brains. And if you're not advertising, you're letting other people climb up there, so they're going to have a chance to be #1 on people's brains. But I digress a little bit there. One of the ways that we're able to be resourceful is, believe it or not, my shamelessness. I am one of those really lucky people who truly doesn't care what strangers think. Now, we've all got our core group of friends where if we handle something one way, we call them up, hey, what do you think of how I did this? And they either say, Dave, that's exactly how you should have handled it, or they say, you're a moron, how do you have a business? So, you get a little bit of that from your friends, but overall, most people, I genuinely don't care, and that's kind of a good thing. It's a real freedom, and it allows me to get on here and just do stupid things. You guys have seen us doing ridiculous stuff, me specifically, if you check out our Instagram page, for instance, or some Facebook, or, well, a little bit on here too, I suppose. But that's something that we use because it's memorable. People will remember it, they'll remember Mayniax, they'll remember me, things like that, and it helps us stay on top of people's brains. Now, when it comes to time is something that, in order for that to be a resource for you, you have got to trust people to handle some of the stuff that you would normally do. Let's say you're one of those entrepreneurs who's working totally on your own. If you have the money, you've got to hire people the second you have the money, because that will free you up to go out and build the brand, which is what your function as the boss needs to be. You've got to be the person that's out there really building the brand. So hire out as soon as you can. Use that as a resource because that buys you time to think and strategize and make all those things happen. And of course, there's money. Jack Trout, who died this year, which is kind of sad, he's sort of the big man when it comes to positioning strategy, positioning theory and things like that. He has a video on YouTube, and I'll see if I can link it into here. Somebody asks him at a talk, what happens if you're the little guy and you're trying to break into a market that's just absolutely dominated by the big guy and you don't have a lot of money? And Jack Trout said, very frankly, good luck. You can't do it. I mean, it's really tough to do. So one of the other resources that you should think about if you don't have a lot of money is your brain. One of the things that helps us out a lot is we constantly have to strategize and we constantly have to think about creative ways for our clients that other people haven't tried in the past. And every day that gets harder because there's a lot more people doing things and a lot more people coming up with ideas. So it gets tricky. But you've got to really sit down and think. Use the internet. Don't leverage it. Don't leverage it. Leverage is a good term for mob movies. Use the internet. Use your connections. Do all these things. Find out what they've done. Find out what's worked. Find out great grassroots campaigns. I mean, The internet is a huge resource that can help you out. So it really is, guys, you've just got to be resourceful. We don't all have tons of resources, but we can be really good with what we do have. We can build things up massively with the stuff we do have. And then you get to a point where you end up with a lot more resources, and then things just go nuts. That's where we're at. We're trying to get to that point where, because we feel like we're right about here, just a little more things and a little more things. One day I'm going to get this English thing figured out. But I digress again. So just use what you have. You know, maybe you're not shameless. That's okay. You've got something that I don't have. I don't know what it is, but you do. And you can use that to make it work. Make that a differentiator. Because the big idea here for your resources, every one of your resources, every one of your minutes should be spent trying to figure out how you're different from the other guy. Not just your product, but your brand, your strategy, how you get out there in front of people. You know, those are the important things. Now, I say every single minute you should be thinking about that. Obviously, if you're a solopreneur, then you need to, you know, do the work as well. But when you get to that point, you're constantly thinking about how to differentiate yourself from people. That's going to be the big one. And that's when people are going to start coming in and saying, okay, let's check these guys out. They might not, you know, suck. So there you go, guys. That's it for today's Mayniax Monday video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Subscribe if you're into my incoherent rambling. And have a great Mayniax Monday. And as always, stay gutsy, gang.